A strange thing happened over the last decade. Modern life stopped being something people owned and quietly became something people rented. Not houses, not cars, everything. Movies became monthly payments. Music became monthly payments. Software became monthly payments. Food delivery became monthly payments. Cloud storage became monthly payments. Gaming became monthly payments. AI became monthly payments. Even printers now want subscriptions. And somehow, this became completely normal. Nobody voted for this. Nobody officially announced it. It just slowly happened in the background while everybody was busy living their lives. One small payment at a time. $4.99, $9.99, $11.99. Tiny numbers. Almost invisible numbers. But modern companies discovered something incredibly important about human behavior. People react emotionally to big purchases, but barely notice small recurring ones. And once companies understood that, the entire economy started changing around monthly psychology, because businesses no longer want customers who pay once, they want customers who never stop paying. There used to be a clear ending when you bought something. You bought a DVD, you owned the movie, you bought Photoshop, you owned the software. You bought a game, you owned the game. Simple. The transaction ended there, the company got money once, and you kept the product permanently. But the internet completely changed that relationship, because suddenly companies realized something terrifyingly profitable. What if products never stopped generating money? What if customers kept paying every single month forever? That single idea changed modern business completely, because one-time purchases are unpredictable. Some months customers buy things, some months they disappear. But subscriptions create recurring revenue, stable revenue, predictable revenue, investor-friendly revenue. And Wall Street loves predictable money. A company with millions of monthly subscribers becomes incredibly powerful because investors can estimate future profits with scary accuracy. That stability massively increases company value, which is exactly why subscription-based companies exploded. Netflix exploded, Spotify exploded, Adobe exploded, and eventually every company started asking the same question: how do we turn our product into a subscription too? That question quietly reshaped modern life. Netflix changed way more than entertainment. It changed how people psychologically think about paying for things. Before streaming, people bought movies individually. Now people rent access to giant content libraries instead. That sounds small, but psychologically, it changed everything. Because subscriptions don't feel expensive. That's the trick. Paying $300 upfront feels painful. Paying $12.99 monthly feels harmless, even if the long-term cost becomes much higher. Modern systems learn this fast, and suddenly, software, gaming, music, cloud storage, productivity apps, AI tools, fitness platforms, all started becoming monthly services. Because companies discovered something extremely important. Most people never calculate the total long-term cost. They only react to the monthly pain. And small monthly pain is psychologically easy to ignore, especially when spread across multiple apps. That's why modern life became filled with tiny, recurring charges. Not because it's cheaper, because it feels cheaper. Here's where things start getting weird. Individually, subscriptions don't seem dangerous. Netflix feels harmless. Spotify feels harmless. Prime feels harmless. Cloud storage feels harmless. AI subscriptions feel harmless. But together, modern life starts turning into invisible rent, streaming subscription, music subscription, shopping membership, food delivery membership, gaming membership, fitness membership, cloud storage, premium apps, AI tools, VPN services, password managers, software plans. Over time, people quietly build entire financial ecosystems made of recurring charges. And because the payments are automatic, they slowly disappear from conscious thought. That's one reason subscriptions became so powerful. They work best when people stop thinking about them entirely. Amazon Prime might be one of the most important subscription systems ever created. Because Prime didn't just make shipping faster, it changed shopping behavior itself. Once people started paying monthly for Prime, their brains changed how they used Amazon. Suddenly, shipping felt free, waiting felt annoying. Amazon became default, and psychologically, that's incredibly powerful because once humans feel they're already paying for something, they naturally try to maximize its value. That's why Prime users often buy more after subscribing, not less. The subscription itself changes behavior, and once Amazon became people's default shopping habit, competitors slowly disappeared from everyday routines. That's how powerful modern subscriptions are. The best subscriptions don't just generate revenue, they reshape habits. Why free trials work so well? Free trials are one of the smartest psychological systems ever invented, because the real goal isn't immediate money, the real goal is habit formation. Companies know something important about humans. Once people integrate a product into daily life, removing it suddenly feels emotionally uncomfortable. That's why almost every platform now offers free trials, first month free, premium previews, temporary upgrades, cancel anytime. The company isn't trying to make money immediately, they're trying to become part of your routine before charging you. And routines are extremely difficult to break. That's why free trials convert so effectively, because humans adapt to convenience incredibly fast. And once convenience becomes normal, losing it feels like pain. Joining a subscription usually takes about 15 seconds. Leaving somehow feels like escaping a secret organization, and that's intentional. Modern companies optimize heavily around cancellation friction, because every extra step increases the chance people delay cancelling. That's why cancelling subscriptions often includes hidden menus, account mazes, confirmation screens, customer support chats, guilt messaging, retention offers, surveys. Pause instead? And are you really sure? Because subscriptions survive through inertia. Companies know busy people postpone small financial decisions constantly, especially recurring ones. That's why forgotten subscriptions became an entire business model. Millions of people are paying monthly for services they barely remember having, and modern systems know this extremely well. One of the biggest turning points happened when Adobe transformed Photoshop into a subscription. Years ago, people bought Photoshop once. Now, you rent access forever. And from Adobe's perspective, this model is nearly perfect. Instead of convincing users to upgrade occasionally, Adobe now generates endless recurring income automatically. That single shift changed the software industry permanently, because once companies experience predictable monthly revenue, going back becomes almost impossible. That's why editing software, productivity tools, cloud platforms, design apps, AI generators all started copying the exact same model. And once subscriptions become industry standard, consumers slowly lose alternatives. At some point, free versions started feeling intentionally incomplete, not unusable, just annoying enough to push upgrades. Ads became more aggressive, storage became smaller, features became locked, quality became restricted. And suddenly every app had Premium Pro Plus Gold Max Ultra. Because modern companies discovered something powerful. The easiest way to make more money isn't always finding new customers. It's slowly upgrading existing ones. That's why modern apps constantly remind users there's a better version waiting behind a paywall. Because premium systems are no longer optional, they became the foundation of modern digital design. Gaming changed massively too. Years ago, people bought games once. Now games often include battle passes, seasonal memberships, premium currency subscriptions, recurring content systems, and these systems work incredibly well because they combine psychology with recurring monetization. Fear of missing out, daily login rewards, limited time skins, progress systems, streak mechanics. Modern games are no longer just games. They're engagement ecosystems designed to keep players continuously connected. Because recurring engagement creates recurring spending, and recurring spending creates predictable profit. This is where the subscription economy started becoming genuinely absurd. Printers now offer ink subscriptions. Cars experimented with heated seat subscriptions. Smart devices lock features behind memberships. Some products technically belong to users, but functionality becomes conditional. And from a business perspective, this makes complete sense. Recurring payments are far more profitable than one-time purchases. So once consumers accepted subscriptions digitally, companies started testing how far they could push the model physically. And surprisingly, people tolerated way more than expected, because once subscriptions become normalized psychologically, they spread everywhere. AI is now accelerating this entire system even faster. Almost every major AI platform now runs on monthly plans, premium generations, usage caps, advanced feature paywalls, subscription tiers. And unlike older software, AI systems are expensive to operate continuously, meaning subscriptions are deeply connected to the future of AI itself. This matters because AI may become integrated into everyday life extremely quickly. Work, creativity, school, productivity, search, organization, communication. And the more essential AI becomes, the more normalized recurring payments become too, which means the subscription economy may still be in its early stages. Subscriptions don't dominate because people love them. They dominate because they perfectly match modern human behavior. Humans love convenience. Humans avoid friction. Humans ignore small recurring pain. Humans adapt quickly. Modern systems optimize around these behaviors constantly. That's why subscriptions became one of the most powerful business models ever created. Not because companies are secretly evil, but because recurring payments align almost perfectly with digital psychology. And once businesses discovered that, there was no going back. But eventually something started happening. People got exhausted. Subscription fatigue quietly spread across modern life. Because individually, Netflix feels reasonable, Spotify feels reasonable, cloud storage feels reasonable, Prime feels reasonable. But together, modern life starts feeling like endless monthly rent. And psychologically, constant recurring payments create low-level financial pressure in the background of everyday life. Even when the numbers seem small, that's why many people now feel financially overwhelmed despite rarely making giant purchases. Because modern systems shifted spending away from visible large costs into invisible recurring ones. And once enough subscriptions accumulate, they stop feeling optional. They start feeling permanent. The strange thing is, subscriptions didn't take over because people specifically asked for them. They took over because modern systems optimize for retention, recurring behavior, convenience, predictable revenue, psychological ease. Ownership quietly started disappearing from modern life. Access replaced permanence. Monthly payments replaced one-time purchases. And subscriptions became the default relationship between people and products. Not because it happened suddenly, but because it happened slowly enough to feel completely normal. And maybe that's how the most powerful modern systems always work. Quietly, gradually, until people stop noticing them entirely. Because once something becomes normal enough, people stop questioning it. Subscribe before the next system becomes invisible too.